read more
conference will
about
now be recorded.
and would have read more about SAML integration. So just to give you an overview to Pawan uh, and like whosoever has joined today, like currently we have just given the introduction on the identity and access management, and what are the different single sign-on protocols which we have. And like yesterday only was our first practical lab with Okta, wherein we created accounts with Okta, and we just had a SAML integration demo with Okta. So today we are going to see the secure web authentication demo with Okta. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Just let me know once my screen is visible to all. Okay, just let me know once it's visible. Is it visible, guys?
Yeah.
Perfect. So guys, before we move on to the secure web authentication, just wanted to check with you, like if you guys had any doubts with SAML integration, or if it is crystal clear. Because if in case you have any doubts, I would like to just reiterate those things, and then move on to secure web authentication. Okay. So, okay, then I'll consider that as a no. If in case you have doubts, then just let me know, and we can discuss that thing. So next topic was our secure web authentication. So as I've mentioned before, that secure web authentication is basically a protocol which is it's not a single sign-on, like it's a workaround protocol for single sign-on. It's not a federation protocol. It is something which Okta came up with. Okay, and why Okta came up with this protocol because there are many applications which does not support federation. Like what is a federation? Federation is something like wherein you have two different parties, like your identity provider and the service provider, like your application and the Okta, or the one who is authenticating or verifying your identity. So there are generally two different parties, and they are not ready to create a trust between these two. So that's why there are scenarios wherein it's not possible that we can create a trust, and that's why Okta came up with a new single sign if with a workaround, which is secure web authentication. So what happens over here is that you are just configuring stuff only on the identity provider side. So IDP, as I mentioned yesterday, it's only going to be your Okta over here. Okay, so whenever I speak about IDP, just make sure that you are having a vision of Okta in your mind, and whenever I say service provider, you are having a vision of application in your mind, right? So whenever so if in case you don't have to configure anything on the service provider side for secure web authentication, the only thing that you have to do is to configure stuff on your identity provider. Since you are not configuring stuff on both the sides, that means you are not doing federation, right? So it's kind of a workaround which you are trying to do, and that's what we'll see now, how we can do that and how we can achieve it. So just also wanted to whosoever has joined today, so if in case you guys want like you can just go ahead and create your own accounts. It's a free trial license version of Okta, which is only valid for 30 days. So the day on which I'll be creating the account, after 30 days this account will be deactivated. So that's why we just created one account till now, and we have just added all the guys to this particular account. You can just go ahead and create your own account also if you want. I can add you over here as well. So yeah, I mean, just a heads up for this, so that you guys have at least have the environment, and you can see whatever we are doing here. Also, guys, on top of the screen, you might be seeing an alert that your organization is at or above 60% rate limit of the quota for the apps. So in the free trial license, we just can create 5 apps. They don't allow us to create more than 5 apps. But since we are just having this for the for learning and the training purpose, so I think we are good to go with 5. I'll just delete my test app, whichever I created yesterday for the SAML integration, and we'll just go ahead and create a new secure web authentication app. So before I move on to the secure web authentication, I would like to give this would be a demo with the Salesforce application. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the Salesforce app. Okay, so this would be my login page. So what I'm trying to achieve is there would be an application here in Okta, and when I'm going to click that application here from Okta, I should be redirected to this page, but I don't have to enter my credentials manually. I just have to directly enter my credentials, and I should be like Okta should be able to directly enter my credentials over here, and it should be able to log me into the application. Okay, so that's what single sign-on is. Single sign-on is something like you don't have to enter your credentials again and again, right? So it's something that you enter your credit. If you have created a session with the browser once, then you can leverage all the other applications without having to enter your credentials again and again. So that's what exactly we are going to do here. That we don't want our credentials to be entered again. This is your application, so this becomes a service provider, and Okta is definitely your identity provider. So if you're doing an IDP initiated, so that is going to Okta and then clicking the application URL or the chiclet and icon. So you should be redirected to the Salesforce page. Your credentials should be entered automatically, or you should not be prompted for credentials again, because you would have been prompted for credentials when you have created a session with Okta. So you should not be prompted for credentials again over here, and you should be directly logged in. Okay, so this is our demo, and we'll see how we can cover this and how we can achieve this. Okay, so first make sure, like, if you are following up, and if you want to do this demo with me, just make sure that I'll just ping this URL. You guys can go ahead and create an account over here. Your Gmail IDs will work, and yeah, I mean, once you, because you need to have an account in Salesforce if you want to if you want to create an account in Okta. So I mean, if you want to achieve the single sign-on feature with this. So yeah, I mean, let me know if in case you guys have any doubts creating account. I can just again show you. Although I already have my account over here, so I cannot create it again. But you can just go to try for free, and you can just enter your credentials over here. So that's what I have done. Like, it's like my email IDs and first name, last name, company names, employees, and my phone number and country code. And then just start my free trial license version. You will be getting an email on your Gmail ID, and that will consist of your that will be having your username and password to actually go ahead and create an account. So I just have this as my username, so I'll just show you guys that first I'm able to log into the application with my credentials. So this is my username, and I'll just enter my password. So the moment I enter my credentials, I'm able to log into the application, right? So this is something that I'm able to log into the application. This has nothing to do with Okta till now, right? This has nothing to do with Okta. Uh, Okay, so this has nothing to do with Okta. Now the thing is, like, over here you can see that I am into Salesforce. Now what is this and all this? We don't have to care, because we are not into Salesforce. We are learning Okta over here. We are just trying to get into the application through Okta. So currently what I did is I just logged into the application with my credentials. Now we'll integrate this application with Okta and we'll see that how it works. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and create an application integration, that is custom integration. Although we can go ahead and create a standard integration also with Salesforce, because Salesforce provides us that, but for the time being, since we are doing custom integration, so we'll just go ahead and do that secure web authentication. So I'll select SWA over here. Like I mentioned yesterday, that we have couple of things in Okta, that is AIW, that is application integration wizard, and then you have OIN. OIN are for standard connectors and AIW is for custom connectors. Okay, so as I mentioned before, that we are going to create a custom connection for secure web authentication. So I'll just go ahead and create a custom connection, and I'll just give you a name as Salesforce test Vibhor. If in case you guys will be creating this application here, just make sure that you are giving your name to the application. And like again, same thing, like now I have to give the login page URL. So this is my login page URL. Okay, because over here my application Okta has to redirect me to this page and then automatically enter my credentials. Okay, now again, application, if you want a logo for this, you can just add it from your system. If you don't have, leave it. It's not a mandatory thing, so we can just like we can just ignore it for as of now. And this is a redirect URL. So if we are going to the login page URL and then to some other page, then we need to enter that URL over here. So sometimes with some applications there is like a proxy server which is standing in front of the URL. So like they just filter the traffic which is coming to the application. So like you have the proxy URL, like I'll just try to show you guys something. um, so what happens over there is that you have a proxy server, and then you have the app URL. So what happens is, now there are requests coming, lot of requests coming, could be some could be fake also. So requests are coming, so it will go to the proxy, it will get filtered from here, and then finally to the app URL. So this is basically just for the security, we purpose only that we bring in these proxy servers. So like this is something, if in case you have with the application, then you can just give the redirect URL also. If in case you don't have, you can ignore it. So in our case currently we don't have that thing, so we'll just ignore that. Then this is the application visibility. So now this is important over here for secure web authentication, because we need to make it visible from Okta. This is not a service provider initiated flow, because as I mentioned before, this is this can only be done, the single sign-on can only be done from the Okta side, that is identity provider side. The reason being, because we are not doing any configuration on the service provider. We are not going to do any single bit of a configuration on Salesforce side. Salesforce is our application, right? So yesterday we did SAML. So you might have remembered that we copied the metadata to the application wherein we wanted to, get into, right? So we did some configuration on both Okta as well as the application, but in our scenario we don't want to do that. We just have to do configuration on Okta side. We don't need to do any configuration on the application side. So if in case we don't make it visible to our to our dashboard, or to the end user dashboard, that we have this thing, so then you won't be able to see the application, right? So you won't be able to see, then you won't be able to get into the application or create a session or do single sign on to the application. And hence, like we should not be disabling it. Although we can disable it, it gives us the option to do that, but we should not disable it. And then then we have the app type. So this is an internal application. You just can give it for some general purpose, because whenever the whenever like it goes to the support team, so they should have some information about the application. So that's why you can just add it or not, but it's not mandatory and has nothing to do with the configuration on the technical front. And then you have this thing is important now, who sets the credentials. So see, now what you're trying to do is that you want to get into the application, you want to get into this application, okay, and you have your username and password. This is my username and I just entered my password, and that's how I got into the application. So now there are different ways, you who sets the credentials means who is allowing you to set your credentials. So it's like user sets your username and password. That is what I have done over here, because I have just entered my username and password which I have created. It's not my admin or anyone else who has created it. So that's why this option. But there could be, some restriction, like delegation. Delegation is like, that you have different set of peoples having different roles. So you do not have the highest role in the organization. Like you are not an admin, you are just an end user. And so sometimes maybe you're using your laptop, and at that point of time you might realize that even to install a software you need an admin rights, and for that you raise a ticket with the IT people. They come in and they do it. So it's not something that you cannot do on your own, right? You know how to install a software, but it's because that due to the security constraint, and because if you have the rights to do everything on your system, you can do anything on your system, right? Like you might be using softwares which you should not be using. You might be developing some codes which you should not be developing. So that is like breaching companies confidential data and stuff like that. And hence there is delegation of data or duties, that or segregation of duties, which is like admins will do admin work, you guys do your work. If you need certain access, like if you are actually a developer and you need to write a code or develop a code, so they will come in, they will install that particular software or IDE, and you can write your own code and stuff like that. But they won't allow you to do anything. Like today you need a software one, tomorrow you need some five other softwares for no reason, because you wanted to like create your own repo and stuff like that. So that is not allowed. So that is why anything you need to install, you need the reason behind it, and if it's a valid or a legitimate reason, you get to have that on your system. So same thing goes over here as well. Like it's just the delegation. If you want, if the admin, this is totally a policy being created by an organization, and will be will be varying org to org. Like if in case my client wants that this is how it should be, so at that point of time we can just select it. So in this scenario, the administrator will be setting the username and password, and that username and password will be given to the end user. Now, because see, password is like a very it's a very sensitive or a very secure thing. No one in the organization should be knowing your password except you. Not even your best friend, not even your colleague, not even your manager, not even your boss. Anyone. No person in the organization should be knowing your password. So in that scenario, we have an option that administrator will just set your username, because username is something everyone will come to know. Over here you can also see my username, right? But you're not able to view my password. So username is something which administrator can set, and the user gets the rights to set his own password. So that can be done. And then we have one thing like administrator sets the username, and the password is same as that of the Okta password. Okay, so see, like whatever we're doing is these are my credentials, which are not my Okta credentials. Please make sure that, because this is my username. No? Over here, if you come to Okta, this is my username. This is wibho4405@gmail.com. And over here I have somewhat like different username. It's ajwa@force.com, right? So, and I'll have my different password also. Like I could still keep both the password same, but it's not necessary that I have to keep it same. Like there is no technical barrier that you have to keep both the passwords as same. You can keep your password same, or you can just make it different. But the thing is, like the set of credentials, they are different, right? Set of credentials consist of your username and password. So your Okta credentials and your Salesforce credentials, currently they are different. They don't need to be same, right? So so that's why we get an option over here that if you want like just go ahead and create, like keep Okta's password. And yeah, and user shares a single username and password set by the administrator. So this can be done by like user will be creating an account with that same credentials which has been set by the admin. So basically out of all these, 99% of the time you'll be using this only, because like this is the most feasible stuff, that because see, if in case you are having more than 10,000 or 5,000 or maybe 1,000 employees, who is going to go ahead and just keep on setting the password and then giving it back to the to the people or to the employees who for whom we have set it. So better is like you only do it, you only keep your set username and password, because at the time of creating your username and password over here also you have those password policies, like you cannot keep 1 2 3, like they have a, like it should match that one uppercase, one lowercase, one numeric character. So like Okta says, okay, like if in case you are already following that password policy to create a user, to create your identity in that application, fine, you go ahead and set your username and password. So we'll keep that option for here for as of now. Then the next thing would be to application username. See, this is exactly the same what we discussed in SAML, that is your name ID format. So what is that attribute value which will be going? So over here we require that attribute value to be email. I mean to be the username, right? So over here also it's our username only. So and that will just be flowing to the application, and that's it. So once we'll click on finish, our connection will be created with the application. Now if you'll see and go to the sign on tab, you are on the secure web authentication and you have selected user sets your username and password, and then we have yeah, and now this is an important option, that password reveal, that allow the users to securely see their password. So as I mentioned before, that for secure web authentication, you require an Okta browser plugin. Okay, so you cannot use secure web authentication without Okta browser plugin. So I have it installed on my system. I'll just remove that and I'll just try to create have a demo. So if in case, see, I'll just remove it from my Chrome and then I'll try to show you that if in case it works for me. Okay, so I'll just go to the application again. This is my application. Now see, yesterday we discussed that whenever an application is created, user needs to be assigned. If I'm not assigning the user, Okta will not come to know to which set of people it has to restrict the access. So I'll just assign it to me for that time being. I'll just assign it, and now my user is already there. So if I'll go to my end user dashboard, you'll see that I have the option of Salesforce test before, right? I get to see because there is an application created in Okta and it's assigned to me, and I haven't disabled this application, that it should not be visible to me on the dashboard. So that's why it's visible to me. Now if I try to click, no, nothing will happen. I mean, if I like give my password, see, nothing will happen, because you need Okta plugin to launch this app, and that's where Okta browser plugin is very important. Now what happens is like see, I was being asked my credentials, right? So I just entered my credentials, but still it could not do anything, because now this Okta browser plugin is actually going to store my credentials in an encrypted AES 256 algorithm. Okay, so my credentials are going to be encrypted in a secure format, and that is going to be saved on the Okta browser plugin. Now what will happen is, the moment you're trying to launch the application from this particular page, that is from here, you just hit the application, you will be redirect to the Salesforce page, and over there you will see that your username and password is being auto populated automatically, and then you click on enter automatically. You will be redirected over here. You don't have to enter credentials automatically. It will enter your credentials and click on login, and then you log into the application. So that is something that needs to be done directly, and that is where we need Okta browser plugin to help us. So we'll just install this plugin. It's just a an extension to the Chrome, so you just need to add it, and that's it. Like you don't have to do anything else. So it is asking me my account, to which account I'm trying to use. So I'll just give my account. This is my company URL over here, so I'll just use this. Okay, so now I have the Okta browser plugin installed. Okay, so I'll just go to the applications again. I will just go over here, and I think we are good to go with the test now. Let's go ahead and finally test it out. So I think this time it should work. So I can see again an application over here. I'll just try to click on it. Now this is Okta authenticating my identity. You see that it's already okay. No, I think the credentials it was entered are not correct. So see, this is my wrong credentials because the reason being I need to update my email ID, which is this thing, because this is my username, right? And hence it did not work. So that's why I need to update my correct username and credentials over here. Once I'll do that, then I don't think so it will be an error. So let's try again after I, update my credentials. Yeah. So this time I was able to log in because my credentials were not correct at that point of time, and hence it wasn't allowing me to what happened was that since I had my username as Vibu4445, so it took this particular email ID as my as the username to enter. So you might, if you, I don't know if you have noticed, but at that point of time I was getting to see like on the main Salesforce page, right? So I was getting to see this particular username as Vibu, my Gmail ID, but it wasn't my Gmail ID. It was my that other credentials like this thing. This was my username. So that's why it wasn't allowing me, and hence I wasn't able to log in at the first instance. But now I am able to. So I think it's giving some issues with regards to with regards to the uh, browser plugin. I can just refresh and try again maybe, but it should be, yeah, this time it should be. Yeah, so that's how I'm into the app now. So that's how single sign-on works. You would have seen that I don't have to again enter my credentials again and again. And also if I go to the application in Okta, if I go to the admin panel and see the application log, so in Okta also it will show that my logout, my single sign-on to the application was successful. So let's go ahead and check the logs once. Yeah, and you could see that the user sign on to the app is success. So this is like your single sign on was successful. So I'll just pause off here for a moment, and if you guys haven't tried, I would request you, let's go ahead and try it, because this is again an important concept. Although you might not be working with a lot of SWA apps, like if you are working in an organization for some client, or so it's basically like 60% SAML, 20 to 30% OIDC, and 10% secure web authentication protocol. So, but like if you are giving any interviews on Okta, then definitely, people do ask about secure web authentication a lot. And hence, just go ahead and try to do it. If in case you have any doubts or, there are things which are not clear to you right now, just, please come ahead, please come forward and ask me and we can discuss those things. Anyone who is trying to, replicate this thing?
Yes, I'm trying. Just give some moments.
Sure, sure, no problem. Also, like if in case you're trying, just delete the other apps because like it won't allow you to create more than five. So I mean currently it's three, so that's fine. Like you can go ahead and create two more apps, but if in case like after five, if in case someone is trying, it won't allow. So yeah.
Oh, we need to create Salesforce account, right?
Right, yeah. Salesforce account is just required so that when you're trying to log in from Okta, you have an account and you're logged in directly, and that's the only thing.
Actually, in this, when I sign up, it's asking working email, job title,
You can give your
like that.
Gmail,
A job title.
anything, like it doesn't matter.
Okay. Uh, company, it's asking company also.
Anything, like it doesn't ABC, anything, it doesn't matter.
Okay. Thank you.
Others also, if you can just try and or if in case you have any doubts, just come up with those things because we are discussing important, single sign-on protocol concepts. Yesterday we did SAML, today we have done secure web authentication. So it's good to know these things and come up with doubts. So like just trying to help you guys over here with the stuff. And if in case you feel that something is not clear, just come up with those things because they might seem easy, but they are not that easy. So like if in case you want to ask something, just go ahead. I think okay, okay, okay. Nothing. Just let me know once you are, able to do it, and then we can just proceed ahead.
Can you repeat one more time from starting?
Okay, sure. Okay, so what we were trying to do was that, like, I hope secure web authentication protocol was clear, right? Like, what we have done is something don't, think of, but what is secure web authentication is like, you have your, see, you have your application, okay, and you have Okta, okay. You need to do configurations in Okta. To achieve SSO in application. Okay, no configuration to be done in in application. Okay, now what will you do? And this is what secure web authentication is all about. Okay, this is what it is. So now what we were trying to do is like, for an application, we did not have our application over here is Salesforce. Okay, we did not have any account created in Salesforce, because the application in which we want to do SSO, we should have an account, no? Like if you are trying to use Facebook or Amazon, and if you like with Amazon, it's a different, like you can still use application without signing it. But like if you want to use Facebook, now how will you use Facebook? You get onto that Facebook page, right? And then you enter your credentials to get into the application, or for that matter, Instagram, Twitter, anything. So they all require you to have an account with them, then only you can use them, right? So that's what that is the same thing with the Salesforce. You need to have your account created in Salesforce. Okay, so that's why we just went ahead and created our accounts with Gmail ID, with some random data, with some random user data. Okay, and like if you just want to see this step, so like we went to Salesforce. This is the URL of the Salesforce. If you just want to log in, this is the page you get into, right? So you just have to just go ahead and try for free, and over there you can just enter your details. I've already entered, so that's why I see them auto-filled. But if in case you don't have, just give your first name, last name, anything. Gmail as your work email, and anything apart from that, like it doesn't
Yeah, I
matter.
created Salesforce account.
Okay, perfect. So once your account is created, you don't have to do anything with Salesforce now. It's
Okay.
done. Okay. Now we'll come back to Okta. Now in Okta, as we'll just go ahead and create a secure web authentication. We'll just go to this application integration wizard, and we'll just go ahead and create a secure web authentication protocol. Okay. So
Okay.
we can just give it a name like whatever it is, or and then you can just give the login URL. So this is my login URL. I can just give it over here. I can just give it over here,
Okay.
and yeah. And then most of the things you just have to keep them as it is. You don't have to do much. And then you'll click on finish. I'm not doing it because it will again create a connection, and we'll be 4 out of 5 like applications. So I already have it, but like that's how are the initial steps. So if I go to my application, so this is. So that's how, like, that was the only thing I did over there. Now I have done this. I'll just assign this application to myself because I want to, use it. And then I'll go to the Okta end user dashboard. Okay. Once I'm over here, I should be able to see this application on my dashboard. Okay. Once I'm
Okay.
able to, when you'll hit when you'll try to click on this application, no, it will, for the very first time, it will say that Okta browser plugin is not installed. So you can install it directly with that pop-up which is coming. You just have to add an extension to Chrome. Okay. So once you add that extension, now next thing is it will ask you your credentials for the very first time. It will not never ask me again. Like for the very first time, it asked me my credentials. Now it is not asking me, right? It is going over here. You will see, yeah, see, I'm directly into the application. So for the very first time, it will ask you for your credentials. You can just enter your username and password, which you have already with the Salesforce. Don't enter your Gmail if it is, if like, I think you would have got an email from Salesforce with something like this. that welcome to Salesforce, verify your account. So make sure that you are verifying your account on Salesforce, and this would be a username. Like if it is your Gmail ID, it's your Gmail ID. If it is not your Gmail ID, it is your ID which is being provided by Salesforce. So just make sure that you have your account created with Salesforce, and with your credentials you are able to log into Salesforce. That is important. Then only you can do single sign-on from Okta as well. So once you are able to do that, then I think you just need to enter your credentials once over here, and once you do that, you will be into the Salesforce.
Okay. I will try now.
Sure.
So I did everything, but the thing is, it's saying me that you have to install the
Browser
plugin
plug.
again.
Correct.
Yeah, and I did it, but then also
Just
it is
refresh the page. Just refresh the page and then try to hit again.
okay. Oh yes, I can. I did it.
Perfect. Oh, okay. So I think we are good, right? So if in case, like, we'll just carry forward from here, move forward, and like, in case you feel that it's not working, you can just interrupt me. Like, if we won't end the session before like it's not working for you. I just need to cover some slides for the day as well, so that's why I'll just start off with that. But if in case you feel that you were trying and it did not work, just let me know. We can come back again to this topic. So that was it about the single sign-on application protocols. We covered SAML, we covered secure web authentication. Sorry, we have OIDC as well. I wanted to cover that OIDC demo as well, but the problem is that for an OIDC you require an application, like you need require a server to be created. Like you cannot just simply do the demo of OIDC. It's like a little bit complicated stuff. So I would try to bring up with something, but if in case I'm not able to do it, because like I tried to search many things, but there are no OIDC demos available for it's like a real integration there. That is something we generally do when we are on our jobs, but no dummy integration with OIDC. But still if I could, if in case I could not help you with the dummy integration of OIDC, I will still go ahead and do some demo. It might not be working, it not might not be a working demo, but at least you'll get that hands-on experience, or you'll be able to see what exactly are the things we need to do on an OIDC front, right? So we'll do that later, maybe tomorrow. But for the time being, just think of that SAML and SWA is done. OIDC theoretically is done. Practically, I'll try to show you guys something. And API services, I've mentioned before that this is again a use case of OIDC only. It's more of like it's a machine which needs to be authentication. So it's a use case of OIDC only. So this is something very new and very rarely used right now. I mean, it's used, but not in many scenarios. So it's like 0.1% you might be asked to do this thing. So we can just skip it for as of now. I think also we to
Okay,
replicate.
I have one doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
So yesterday you made that application in
Right,
SAML, and
right.
today you use this Salesforce in SWA.
Yeah.
So means why did we use these two for different things? Means can we just use Salesforce by using SAML or vice versa?
See, we can see they when it comes to the application, no, it depends on the feasibility of the application. Now I'll just show you about Salesforce only. I'll just go to the catalog. See, this Salesforce can be done through SAML as well as SWA. Now it's up to you which one you want to use. Not up to you as an Okta developer. I mean up to the application team what they want. See, as an Okta developer, you would say that if you have SAML on one hand, if you have say, SWA on the other hand, I would say let's go ahead with SAML because it's a federation protocol. SWA is a workaround of single sign-on. SWA is used when federation is not possible between two parties. Federation means like there cannot be a trust created between two parties. So it's kind of a workaround. And you would have noticed, right? Like it's kind of auto-populating your credentials and that's it. Like your credentials are being stored in Okta browser plugin and in an encrypted format. And whenever you're trying to log into the application, those credentials are being auto-populated in the on the login page, and that's it. Like that's how you get into the application. But that's like a workaround. It's not a federation. Like you haven't done anything on the Salesforce side. You have just created your account, but you haven't done any configuration on the Salesforce side, right?
Yeah.
So that means like the application team needs to decide if they want, no, I am fine with secure web authentication, fine, then we'll give you secure web. If they say no, we want SAML only or OIDC only, then we'll say yeah, let's go ahead with say like SAML only. So over here you can see that it supports SWA as well as SAML. Forget about SCIM and all because they are provisioning stuff and like related to IDM, they are not single sign-on protocols. It is just showing you what this connector supports. So out of those, only these two are the single sign-on protocols. So SAML and SWA both are available. Now it is up to the application owner or the the team who has come to you to integrate their application with Okta that what they want. But like if your application supports both, always propose like SAML or OIDC before you are proposing secure web authentication because SWA is just a workaround for single sign-on. It's not exactly a federation between two parties. It's just like okay, I will save your credentials in an encrypted format in Okta, and whenever you're trying to log in, I'll let you. That's it. It's nothing like it's not a safe. I mean, it's safe, although Okta claims that it's 100% secure and safe, but still Okta themselves recommend that in scenarios where you can go ahead and do a SAML and an OIDC connection, don't go with SWA. If in case your application team is for enforcing that no, we want to go with SWA, then it's fine, like it's up to them, we are just integrating. But if in case they are fine that okay, you feel SAML or OIDC can be done, so then we always do SAML OIDC before SWA. If in case they are not possible, they are out of the picture, then let's do SWA, then we can do SWA.
Okay. So
Yeah,
means if there is a federation between the two, then we can use the SAML or
correct,
OIDC. And
correct.
there is no federation, then we can go for SWA.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right, yeah. So if there is no federation possible, like your application is designed in such a way that it doesn't allow you to, have that federation or, have that trust with other parties, then there is no option. Let's go ahead with SWA. But if it allows, then, I would always recommend, even Okta recommends that, go ahead with other protocols, that is SAML and OIDC, because they are standard protocols. They're not just, tied with Okta only. If you go to Ping Federate, if you go to one login, if you go to some other tool, then in those scenarios, you'll see SAML and OIDC are everywhere. Secure web authentication is just Okta's protocol. It's not everywhere, although it's a very good protocol. Don't think like secure, like I'm trying to say that secure authentication is a bad protocol. It's nothing as that. in many scenarios you'll see that you have to go ahead with secure web authentication because it wasn't aligned. So other tools cannot do anything at that point of time. Like ping federate, if the application is not allowing any federation, ping federate will raise its hands and will say, okay, I cannot do anything. There would be no single sign-on. At least Okta is coming up with a workaround solution that go ahead and do single secure web authentication. So it's a very good and a strong product of Okta. But like if in case as a developer or an Okta analyst, you want to propose a solution to the app team, or if it is being asked in the interview that what would you propose, then always go ahead with the standard protocols, that is SAML and OIDC. And as a workaround solution where federation is not possible, go ahead with secure web authentication.
Okay. So that's why in Samuel they were asking metadata.
Correct,
So
exactly.
okay, thank you.
No problem. Yeah, so that's it. Like, so before, just I wanted to start off with some slides on Okta. We'll come back to this Okta tenant again, and we'll just see more things, more things which we are going to study over here in the slides. But for the time being, we'll just move back to the slides for some time, and we'll just go through what an Okta is all about. I haven't given an introduction on Okta till now. So basically, just to start off with Okta, I think you guys have already have some information of what Okta is doing, and what Okta is helping us to do, and how we have already created our accounts in Okta, and we have integrated couple of applications with different protocols in Okta. So we have got somewhat, a little bit view of what Okta is. Now, if I want to define what is Okta, so we can, say it as like Okta connects any person with any application on any device. So currently you are using Okta on your system, but since it's a SaaS product, right, it's on cloud, you can just use the same URL on your phone, and you can again do the same things whatever you are doing on your laptop, you can do it on your phone, on your iPads, on your tablets, whatever you have. Okay, so there is no restriction that I cannot use this on my system. You can put restrictions. Okay, you can put like if you're using your phone, I don't want, I like if you are coming from some IP range, I don't want this user to allow it in my system. Or if you are using from phone, then you want that I want this user to have multi-factor authentication, or stuff like that. You can create different policies based on the requirements. But if in case there are no policies or and nothing is implemented in those scenarios, you can use it on any device. So it's an enterprise grade identity management service built for the cloud, but compatible with many on-premises application as well. So see, currently whatever we are going to see, they all will be the web applications. Now, if I want to define what is a web application, so web application is something which is on which is on the browser itself. Web application. So on the browser itself means like you might have, if I don't know if you have seen like your Outlook, right? So Outlook is again on your web as well as on your system. See, this is my okay, so if I want to show you, this is my Outlook. Okay, so this is a client installed application, like Hello, am I audible now?
Yes.
Sorry guys, there was some power outage, so my Wi-Fi got disconnected and hence I got, dropped off from the meeting. I didn't realize that. Sorry for that. Can you guys just let me know till where I was, audible? Did you guys heard about what is Okta, or was I dropped before that?
Think you mentioned what is Okta and then it disconnected.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just reiterate whatever I discussed. So basically Okta helps us to connect any person with any application on any device. So when we talk about devices, it could be your phones, it could be your tablets, it could be your iPads, mobiles, desktops, laptops, anywhere you can connect with Okta because it's a SaaS product. So as I was mentioning before that you can connect with Okta on with on-premises application. On-premises is like an application which you install on your system. It can be from your Play Store, App Store, your Microsoft Store, anywhere. If you're installing an application on your system, that becomes your on-premise application. Now there could be a possibility that you might have a web version for it as well. Like for example, Facebook. You have a Facebook application which can be installed. You have a web version. You have a WhatsApp application which can be installed, but you can also use WhatsApp web on your browser. So you can have many applications which have a web version and a desktop version, but if in case you want to integrate both of them, then there would be separate connections created for both the applications. Like for the same, like for Facebook web, you'll create one connection. For Facebook desktop, you'll create another connection, because with on-premises application, Okta connects in all together in a different way. There are agents with which it will just talk with these applications, because since web applications are already on browser or internet, so it's easy for Okta to communicate with them. But with applications which are on your system, there needs to be some link or an agent which actually helps Okta to get into the on-premise system and then talk with it. And hence, it doesn't get covered in your free license. So with Okta, IT can manage any employee's access to any application or device. Okta runs on the cloud on a secure, reliable, and extensively audited platform. So, and which integrates deeply with on-premises applications, directories, and identity management. So this Okta, it's a very strong tool, because the reason being, you can, have it everywhere. Like it's extensively audited tool. It's highly reliable, because since it's a SaaS service, so you don't have to worry if server goes down or stuff like that. You just have to, worry about that whatever you are doing is, correct, and you are not messing up with any application or with any user in Okta. And it's extensively reported. You can find all the reports, auditing and stuff like that in Okta. So it comes with advanced and rich features which helps to minimize the workload of the employees, or of the admins who are the Okta admins. So the Okta solution was one of the unique challenges of how technology has grown and shifted in the growing diversity of devices, identity issues, security, employee mobility, vendor partnership, and the exponential growth of unique application options. So they have actually, if once you'll be, getting familiarized with Okta more and more, you'll realize that, how Okta has been designed. You might not have heard of many applications. You might be hearing them for the first time when you'll be entering IT, or when you'll be start working, and you'll feel that that application is already Okta has already created a standard connector with that application. See, there are certain standard applications like your Microsoft, like your Office 365, Workday. Like these are some of your standard applications which everyone uses. So with these, Okta has a standard connector, that is fine. Many other access management tools has standard connector, but Okta has certain standard connectors with those applications which no other access management tool has. Like if you see here, right? So Okta has around 7,330 standard connectors. That's like literally too much. They have expanded their services in so many areas. Like if I just want to show that. So that is around 7,330 integrations. So these are all standard integrations which all Okta has already created. Like it comes up with a lot of advanced and rich features. So yeah, I mean, this is it. Like if you have on-premises application and the cloud applications, users can access those applications, be it on their laptops, desktops, or mobile devices from anywhere. And all of this scenario can be replicated by Okta in an easy way. So like this will be our last slide for the day, that is the architecture. I just wanted to cover the architecture of Okta, and then we can continue with some lab sessions tomorrow on the next topic. So talking about the architecture, one feature of Okta that we have already seen is about the single sign-on. So single sign-on, we have already discussed a lot of times what it is. So it allows you to do SSO with multiple applications, like your on-premises application as well as on your web application. Then there is a feature of universal directory. Hopefully we'll see this feature tomorrow. So this is like extensive feature and a very rich feature of Okta, which allows you to have a single source of truth. Now when I say single source of truth, I'll explain it in detail what I mean by single source of truth. But universal directory is something which many other products doesn't come up with, like in a single product. Like Ping has its own Ping directory, but that is like a different product itself. It is not inside Ping product. Okay, so over here you'll see that whatever we have it over here, like whatever we have, everything will be here only. You don't have to install something else or go to some other URL to do anything else. Everything can be done from that single Okta admin dashboard which we are seeing. Then the lifecycle management, I wouldn't say that this is very rich feature of Okta, because there are many restrictions to the lifecycle management. It's like Okta is basically more of like a access management tool. It's not an IDM management tool, that is identity management. So lifecycle management is like whenever an employee or a user is joining an organization or leaving an organization, or the roles are changing in an organization. So all of this, like the automation is required. Like if you are leaving the organization tomorrow, your access needs to be revoked, right? So all of this needs to be done automatically. Although when I'm saying this, it's not like Okta is very bad on all these things, but there are many other things. Like if you are already from IAM background, so you might be knowing that there are many other things which can only be done through other tools like SailPoint and stuff. Okta cannot do that. But like from high level, or from like not going into deep of what identity management is right now, there are certain features like creating a user access or removing the user access, that and all can be done from Okta itself. Then API access management is a strong feature of Okta again. You can do a lot of things using API. I'm going to show you guys a demo on how we can create users through an API, or how we can. They are all APIs created by Okta, so we don't need to worry that we don't have to write any kind of a code or a script. A little bit of script here and there on Postman. I'll show you. I'll share those scripts with you, but more or less, like it's very much sorted. Then multi-factor authentication, adaptive multi-factor is something, very strong feature in Okta. Adaptive MFA is something like, we are going to discuss this in detail, but adaptive MFA is something like accordingly it adapts to your situation. So suppose morning you have logged in with some credentials, and you have used your MFA. So after 2 hours, why do you require MFA again? You just authenticated yourself in the morning, right? So those kind of features can be come and those kind of use cases come under adaptive MFA, and Okta supports those kind of features. It will log in. Okay, this guy logged in like 2 hours back. So if the session is not completed, let's just let him in with his credentials. Don't do MFA with him. But like there could be some hackers doing nonsense stuff on internet. So in those scenario, we require it to be enabled every time the user is logged out. So then we can keep it. But adaptive MFA is something based on the policies and the network zones, you can allow that when the MFA needs to be prompted. Then we have mobility management. So it's the tight user identity integration, which is the device-based contextual access, and a lightweight management. So like you can use it anywhere and stuff like that. So that is coming with the feature of Okta. And then finally the developers SDK. So there are many REST APIs, which REST APIs, if you know very good what are REST APIs. If in case you don't know, just think of it like they are APIs only, and 99% of the APIs on cloud are REST APIs. If not 99, let's keep it 90%. There are REST APIs and SOAP APIs, but like REST APIs are something which I use everywhere, not with Okta, not with just IAM domain or cybersecurity, but with any other IT domain also, like your Java development, your Python development, any API created on cloud. 90% of the times you will find that it will be a REST API. So, I mean, that's what, like, these are the different services which Okta Identity Cloud comes with. We have already started with the single sign-on service. We'll go ahead with the universal directory next, and slowly and steadily we'll, cover all of these features and, services which Okta provides. So, yeah, I think I'm good for the day. If in case you guys have any doubts, just let me know and we can discuss, and then finally we can close.
I think we are good.
I'm not sure. I think I got dropped again. If in case there was any doubt, we can discuss it tomorrow. Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you.
perfect. Thank you.